Hey, kings and queens, welcome to the Let's Talk with Amber Nicole podcast, where I give you real, raw, unfiltered information that has to do with the love of God, the love of Christ, relationships, all things confidence. Welcome, Crowned Up Tribe. I know I have my Crowned Up Tribe in here. I'm sure you guys are listening. Welcome to another episode. Tonight, we are going to be talking about what emotional maturity is and what emotional capacity is. So just give me a brief moment while we start things and get it ready and going. All right. All right, guys. So again, we're going to be talking about what emotional maturity and what emotional capacity is, and just basically how important it is in relationships. So I know a lot of times people struggle in relationships, right? Like, have you ever been in those relationships where you're like, I really just don't understand why you can't do the thing that I'm asking you to do. Like, why is it just this hard? I asked you to open up to me and share certain things with me and you won't. I'm asking you to be honest with me when you're out and about, have integrity. I'm asking you to respond to me in a certain manner when you're talking to me, right? I'm asking you to make sure that you are showing up when I ask you to be there, or if you can't, that you at least let me know that you can't be there, right? Like whatever it is that you kind of asking your partner or asking the people around you that love you. This is not necessarily only about romantic relationships, because this applies in just relationships in general. But you get frustrated, right, when you're asking someone to do something, and to you it's like, this should be easy. Like I would do it for you in a heartbeat. I would show up if you tell me to be there. If you say, hey, you respond too slow on text messaging. I know at times you may be busy, but if I really need you, can you at least just say, hey, I'm busy right now, I'll get back to you. That's just something simple, but I'm just saying, like, when you are asking someone to do something for you and you see that it's just a struggle, like so hard for them, one of those things could be because they don't have the emotional capacity to handle or do the things that you're calling them to do. And I know the thing, like, they can't text me back. That was literally just an example. I'm not saying that they can't text you back. What I'm saying is that it takes a level of, some people just don't have it in them to give you the things that they need to give you. So before we get into it really quick, I really want to just give you guys the definition of what emotional capacity and emotional maturity is. So I have my notes here on the screen. I'm just going to share that with you. So for starters, emotional maturity is the ability to take responsibility for your emotions and behavior. Emotional maturity is regulating your emotions without blaming others. It is communicating clearly and respectfully, even in conflict. Emotional maturity is making decisions based on wisdom, values, and not just your feelings. Emotional maturity is showing empathy and also taking accountability. So one of the things that I like to basically say, like 1 Corinthians 13:11 says, when I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child, basically. But when I became a man, or when I became a woman, I put away the ways of childhood behind me. That's 1 Corinthians 13:11. So you have to put your childish ways behind you. Emotional maturity is being able to be an adult, being able to communicate like an adult, being able to handle your emotions like an adult. And here's the thing. I just want to put this out there for myself. I have not always been an emotional mature person, and at times I still struggle today. So this doesn't mean that you're always going to get it right. Like, it doesn't mean that every time you have conflict, you're always going to respond in the right way. And every time you have conflict, you're never going to say things that you don't mean. Like, no, because we're human. Like, and it also depends on the level of pain that other person caused you on the other side. Also determines kind of how you respond sometimes. If it's not something so big, then you may be able to handle that and you may be able to respond in the right way. But if it's something like, you cheated on me, you lied, you betrayed me, having emotional maturity in that time may not be so easy. Like, it really takes real work, right? And then let me give you the definition of what emotional capacity is. So what emotional capacity is your internal bandwidth to handle emotions, stress, vulnerability, intimacy, discomfort without shutting down, lashing out, or disconnecting. It's about how much emotional weight you can carry without breaking trust. It's about being safe enough for your partner to bring their full selves, and also staying present when conversations get deep, tense, or painful. So think of emotional capacity like a container, right? If your container is small, then you'll get easily overwhelmed. But if you have this big, huge gallon container of love or emotional capacity, then you can handle a lot. Have you ever heard this saying when they say, you can't have gallon-sized love? You can't be a gallon-sized lover with a pint-sized spouse. So basically, if you haven't heard that, basically what that's saying is if you are a big lover, like God just gave you this capacity to really love and hold people. Like if you really are that person, there are people that don't have that same level of love. And if your partner, or not just your partner, but the people around you don't have that same capacity of love, then number one, they're not going to be able to handle all that you have to give them. So you have to learn what their capacity is, what they can handle, because you'll give and give and give and give and give and give. But when they don't have the capacity, look at what it looks like for, in my brain, I'm thinking about like if you take a big gallon and you pour it inside a little jar, it's going to pour over. It's going to pour over. So your love is pouring out of them. So everything you keep pouring into them, they can't even see it no more because you've already filled them up in a way. And now they can't handle anymore. And it's almost like you're drowning them with your love. Unfortunately, that's really a thing. So just having the emotional capacity, everybody can't handle you. So when you have a gallon-sized love, you need someone who has a gallon-sized love too. Like you need someone who knows how to love deeply, who's willing to learn how to be more vulnerable, be more open, be able to handle the things. Like when you guys are going through conflict, they're not going to go gossip behind your back, right? When you guys are having conflict, you and your man, you and your woman are having conflict, and he or she is not going to go, since they can't handle the way the conflict went, go and sleep with another woman or sleep with another man because they can't handle it, or go talk to another man or go talk to another woman. And that's emotional cheating, all because they can't handle it, because they don't have the emotional capacity to handle that we are in conflict right now, right? So make sure that when you're with someone, you have to make sure that they have the emotional capacity to handle who you are. And let me give you some examples of what it looks like. Examples when you're in like a growing, emotionally mature relationship. So what that may look like is not shutting down when your partner says that you hurt me. So a person who is emotionally mature is able to sit and you're able to say, hey, really hurt my feelings when you disregarded me, when I tried to tell you that, I can't even think of anything. I suck at examples. It hurt my feelings when I was trying to talk to you earlier today and you kind of like walked away. And someone who is emotionally mature, the response would be like, oh, really? Like, my bad. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings. That wasn't my intention. Like, I'll work on that and make sure I don't do that anymore. But a person who does not have the emotional maturity may get defensive to that. And you may say, hey, it really hurt my feelings when I was trying to talk to you. And you just walked away. And their response would be something like, well, I was tired of listening to you. Like, all you doing is nagging. And I'm tired. I keep hearing you over and over again. Or you just keep saying the same thing. So if you keep saying the same thing, I don't want to hear it no more. So I walked away. That's the person who doesn't have the emotional maturity to sit and listen to you say, hey, you hurt my feelings. And sit in it and be okay with the fact that they hurt your feelings, learn from that, and then proceed forward and making sure that I won't do that again, because as my man, as my woman, I love you and I know you love me, and our goal is not to hurt each other. It's to be better and become the best God versions of ourselves. So that's what an emotional, mature person looks like. Or maybe something like saying, I kind of alluded to this a little bit, but saying I was wrong without needing to be forced into it, right? So if me back to that same example, if I'm like, hey, it kind of hurt my feelings when you walked away from me, when you when I was still talking to you. And instead of me saying, can't you apologize? Like, are you going to say sorry? Like, can't you at least just, that's an emotional, immature person. If I have to tell you to tell me sorry, if I have to tell you to tell me you were wrong, like, you're being emotionally mature and immature. An emotional, mature person will be able to say, I was wrong. I shouldn't have did that. I should have listened to what you were saying at the time, even though it was uncomfortable for me to hear. I should have been mature enough to sit in that uncomfortable moment and be able to listen to what you were sharing with me. So those are kind of some things when it comes to emotional immaturity. And just so you guys know, I'm not going to be on here all night tonight. Like, I really just wanted to give like a real brief overview and some examples of what it looks like to be emotionally mature and have the emotional capacity. Number one, because they're two different things. Number two, because so many relationships are lacking this today. Like, this is just a side note, but it's well within what I was talking about. Like, there are so many people who are emotionally immature, don't know how to handle when someone is giving them feedback in situations, don't know how to give validation to what is going on. Like, if you really want someone to listen to you, and let me just give you this. If you really want someone to listen to you, if you really want someone to, if you guys are in the middle of conflict, right? And you're trying to get past or get through it and navigate that thing. Because sometimes y'all can just be going at it and you did this and you did that. Well, if you wouldn't have done this and I wouldn't have done that, and it's just this battle and you just become enemies and no one is hearing each other. Everybody's trying to defend their point. The emotional, mature person will be the one that's able to validate you. It's going to be the one to say, you know what? Your perspective is your perspective. I may not agree with it, but I'm able to hear you. And I may not understand completely where you are coming from, but I respect how you feel. And I'll work on doing what I need to do to make sure that I'm not making you feel that way. I didn't think I was doing that. I didn't see myself doing that. But if you're telling me that I'm hurting your feelings when I do this, then I can hear and understand what you're saying. Validation. It doesn't mean I agree with you. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be like, yeah, I'll do everything you tell me to do. No, validating means I'm telling you that even though I don't agree and I may not totally understand, I'll do what I need to do to work on what you're asking me to do. And if I fall short again, please let me know what I'm doing wrong. That way I can show up and be better, and vice versa. But the problem is we are in these relationships with a bunch of people who don't have healing, who didn't get therapy, who has childhood wounds, who been hurt before in relationships, didn't go unpack that thing. And now you're bleeding on the other person. And now you can't even accept accountability, and you can't even accept a person telling you that you did something wrong, because if it doesn't feel good when someone's telling you you're not doing good, right? And not only that, you don't have the emotional capacity to handle when someone is telling you that you hurt them because you have not done your healing work. I want you to think about that. Like, have you done your healing work? For men, they don't like to hear the word healing. So have you done your transformation, men? Brothers, have you did the work that you need to do to unpack the things that you dealt with, to unpack that woman that took advantage of you when you was a child, to unpack that man that took advantage of you when you was a little kid, to unpack your parents, you being a neglected child, to unpack the fact that you weren't loved properly, to unpack the fact that you had parents who were made drug addicts and didn't do what they needed to be done. Brother, have you unpacked the woman that you thought was going to be your woman, that you thought was going to eventually be your wife, and this was going to be your family, but that never happened, and that relationship broke apart, and that relationship didn't work? Did you unpack the feelings that it felt to be hurt because that it didn't happen the way you thought it should happen? But I want you to think about this. God had other plans, and you don't like what God's plans are. Have you unpacked the fact that God had another life for you than the life that you wanted for yourself. Unpack it, heal it, understand what happened, let it go, move on, so that when someone comes into your life, you have the emotional capacity to love them properly, because you're not loving from the lens of the brokenness that you have not healed, but you're loving them from the lens of the overflow of love you have to give, because you know the importance of love and intimacy and vulnerability and connecting in a deep way in relationships. There is no long-lasting relationship without vulnerability. It could be shallow and it can go on for 20 years, but it'll be a shallow relationship. It'll be very little depth. It'll be two people saying that they love each other, but never really experience the full love and the full love and vulnerability and intimacy into me, seeing me fully for who I am. You will not be able to live that out if you don't do your healing work. You don't get the transformation that you need. You don't get the understanding. You don't get to cry about the fact that I wanted this and it didn't work for me. I wanted that woman and she left me. She treated me wrong and I gave her everything I had and she didn't treat me right. I gave her everything I had in me and she treated me like I was trash. And now I have this perspective of what women are. Now I use women. Now I treat women like they not nothing to me. Or I may be in a relationship with someone, but she doesn't have my heart because I've given that out already and I can't give that again because it almost broke me. Or did break me and I don't want that feeling no more, right? Brother, I want you to sit here and think about everything I'm saying right now, about the pain that you've endured, about people making you feel like you don't even deserve to be in pain because you're a man and you don't have feelings. I want you to know that you deserve deep love, intimacy, and vulnerability with a woman that can cover you and you cover her, with a woman that can speak life into you. You deserve that. But you cannot ever get to that. And I don't want you, as you're listening to this, please don't wait any longer. I don't know why God is keeping me here. I'm trying to get to my next point, but for some strange reason, God is like, stay right here because the men need to hear this. Listen, I know that you've been in pain. I know that you believe that people only need you for what you can do for them, but not for who you are. I know you believe that. And you may have people in your life to make you feel that. But I want you to know that you are more than just a paycheck that you give to people. You are more than just what you do for people. You are worthy of being loved because of who you are. The man that you are. The Superman and the Clark Kent. The man that cries and the man that shows up and strong and tough. The man that doesn't have it all figured out and the man that says, I can lead you in this way. Both versions of you deserves a woman who can carry and have the emotional capacity to handle all that you are. That woman is rare. I'll tell you that. That woman is rare. I know she is. I see it. I know. But rare does not mean impossible. And rare does not mean she's not out there. But I need you to do your work, brother. I need you to do your healing work. I need you to do what you need to do for yourself. Don't focus on these women. Don't focus on what they doing, how they showing up, these women doing that. No, because when people focus on the other opposite sex, when women focus on these men out here are all cheaters and they ain't right, so I'm gonna be cheating too. When men focused on, well, there ain't no good women out here anyways, or just I'm gonna treat them like nothing, or all these women just got BBLs and da-da-da, like whatever it is, the negative of that the culture seems to be putting out there and pushing out there. When that ends up being the focus, and the focus is not on who do I need to become to get the things that I desire of my heart. Accountability is the number one thing that we need to focus on. Emotional maturity, emotional capacity has to do with accountability. I got to take care of me first. I got to heal my pain first. I got to work on doing what I need to do for myself so I can come to the table to a woman and I'm not bleeding on her from my pain that I refuse to think that is doing anything that, hold on, I'm stumbling over my words. My pain that I refuse to believe still affects me today. Because a lot of times what happens is because you was 7, 8, 9, 10, when those things, when you got taken advantage of, you believe that is not affecting you today. But I'm telling you now, if you believe that, then you don't understand human psychology. Because there is no way you could have gone through that, never gotten therapy, and time just passed, and you believe that is not still affecting how you show up today. All right? I want you to know I love you, brother, that you can reach out to me for some coaching, and we can go through and unpack some of those things that you are still dealing with today. Okay? All right, I'm going to move on to the next thing. I don't know why God had me there, but he did. So I'll move on to the next thing about when it comes to emotional capacity and what that looks like. So I did just share what emotional maturity looks like. Now I'm going to share what emotional capacity looks like. Where is my mouse? I don't know where it is. Okay, there it is. So emotional capacity looks like being able to sit through a conversation about someone's trauma or insecurity without avoiding eye contact or changing the subject. Ooh, Jesus, that hit me. Several years ago, probably at least 7 years ago, when I would go on dates with men, I would always notice, like, why is he not looking in my eyes? Like, here I am talking to you. You know how crazy it feels for you to be trying to have eye contact with someone that you're getting to know, and they're looking all around everywhere else? That is a sign of they don't have the emotional capacity to even sit and look at you. I bet you didn't think about that, did you? Like, damn, if you don't have the emotional capacity to sit and look at me, then you definitely can't handle loving me, handling conflict, being faithful, all the things, right? Another one is holding space when your partner is grieving, angry, or triggered, instead of shutting them down with, you're too emotional. You're too emotional. You need to stop being so emotional all the time. Stop being so sassy. Stop crying. What you crying for? Like, every time, oh my God, here you go, crying again. Like, oh my God, why you keep crying? What is this for? Now I understand that there are some people that may cry a little bit too much because they don't have the emotional capacity to be able to express how they feel. So the way they express it is through tears, which doesn't get anywhere. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is being able to hold the space if I'm struggling. My mom just passed away and I don't know how I feel right now. Of course, I'm hurting, but I don't know how to handle it. My partner, my man, needs to have the emotional capacity to say, babe, I can sit here with you in this. It's uncomfortable to sit with someone who had someone in their life die, right? It's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel right. But emotional capacity says I can put my own feelings to the side. I can put my own uncomfortableness to the side to sit in here with you, to hold you, to hug you, to grieve with you. Matter of fact, if you don't even, I won't say nothing. If you don't even want me to talk, I'll just be here with you and sit so you know I'm here. Not saying nothing because maybe you don't want to talk, right? So having emotional capacity is being able to sit when someone, even when they're triggered, right? When you get triggered, when you're just like, oh, that really brought some old version of me back, or that what you just said right there reminded me of something that a man said to me before, and that man was abusive to me. And instead of your man or whatever saying, oh, so now you're trying to say I'm him because now you're trying to say I'm abusive, and that's not having emotional capacity. The emotional capacity response would say, oh, did I? I'm sorry. I didn't. That is not what I was trying to do here. I do not want to take you back there. I respect you. I honor you. I value you. I'll make sure I'll do my best to not say that again. I'm not trying to trigger you, because a lot of times, the trigger may not be something that you think is big. It could be that he used to buy me yellow flowers, but then at the end of the day, those yellow flowers end up with blood or something on them because we would fight, and whatever the case may be. So now you brought me yellow flowers, and I'm like, this is triggering this. I'm remembering those yellow flowers, right? And it doesn't have to be something like he said that was bad. Another example of emotional capacity is being able to share your own feelings even when it's scary. Being able to say, you know what, I really am hurting right now at this space in my life. This situation has happened. My mom passed away. I'm really struggling right now. I'm trying to get through it, but I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle this right now. Can you please be there for me? Can you sit with me? That's emotional capacity. That's also vulnerability as well. That's not only emotional capacity, but that's also vulnerability. Being able to share those vulnerable moments, not knowing how the other person is going to respond. So I want you guys, as I'm wrapping up today, because I don't want to go too much longer, I just want you guys to know, number one, emotional maturity and emotional capacity is extremely important in healthy, loving relationships. And if it's something that you're struggling with, it's something that you need help with, it's something that you are like, I want to be that way. I'm a good person, right? But I struggle in this area. You know, if that's something that you are struggling with, reach out to me. You can go to my link tree. On Hello Amber Nicole link tree. I'll put it in the show notes. You can go to my link tree. You can schedule a consultation with me, and we can go from there and kind of tell me the things that you need, and then sign up for some coaching with me, men and women, both. And if that's not what you want to do, at least find somebody. If it's not me, let it be somebody, right? That can help teach you what emotional maturity is, what emotional capacity is, what having emotional intelligence is, like all of those emotion things that don't nobody talk about when they talk about trying to find a relationship. You guys talk about he got to be fine, he got to be 6 foot. You talk about she got to have a nice body and she got to do this, but no one talks about I need a partner that is emotionally mature. I need a spouse that is working on their growth mindset and being a better person. I need a partner who has good character and morals and values. I don't really see much of that, which is why we struggle in relationships today. So as I end this tonight, I just want you guys to know that I'm here for you if you need me. I want you to know that you do not have to be perfect to be powerful. And shout out again to my Crowned Up tribe. Again, that is another episode of Let's Talk with Amber Nicole. If you haven't watched any of my other episodes, go watch them. If you don't follow me on YouTube or subscribe to me on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel now. Because what we shacking up for, what you just watching my stuff for, but you not subscribed, okay? Go subscribe. And also my podcast is on all podcast platforms. So wherever you are, wherever you listen to your podcast, that's where I'll be. You guys enjoy your night, peace and prosperity, and shalom. Bye, guys.